Hi everyone, I'm going to go ahead and take a look at 5-4 with you guys. That way, again, if you missed class or you just need some help on the homework, you do have something to go ahead and reference. Go ahead, and if you need to, you can always pause the video, rewind, do whatever you need to do. Fast forward if you just need help on a certain question. I am going to go in the order. Due to the fact of the issue with Desmos using on the Promethean in the classroom, which is what I'm using to write on the board, which is why I'm not actually recording myself. I'm going to go ahead and use the Aleks Calculator today. Generally, though, I would probably recommend using Desmos or the school calculator. I'm going to go ahead and get started. And it should, if you were in class, this should look familiar because it's very much the same thing that we were doing. So here we have our first question, which talks about on what intervals is the function strictly increasing, meaning I only care about when is the slope positive. Versus they can also ask you if it's constant or if it's decreasing, but here I'm specifically looking for increasing slope. And so I can see here it's positive from this point to this point to this point, it's positive. Everything else is either constant or negative. So I only in this case care about the increasing intervals. So for my intervals, I want to look at the x values. When does it start? So this first set starts when x equals -7 and finishes when x is -6. For my second interval, it starts at -2 and goes to +1. Again, I'm only actually looking at the x values here. And so I'm going to go ahead and put this in here. I'm going to turn off the annotate. So I'm going to go ahead with parentheses. And we're going to start with -7. And it goes to -6. I'm going to lower down that volume. And then I'm going to go ahead and put a comma. I'm going to go ahead and go with another one. And we're going to say from -2, comma, oh, that would be the comma there, to 1. I'm going to head and hit check. And I'll go ahead and check. If you're not sure whether you're supposed to use brackets or parentheses, I always do suggest taking a look here over on the side for the example or the explanation, and it will tell you which one you're supposed to use. That is always something, even I sometimes have to go double check that. So I'm going to hit continue. All right, next we're going to take a look at question 2. And this refers to us asking about using this graph, determine when we have maximum values. So I'm looking for when my slope is going from positive to negative slopes. So I have a hump instead of a valley. So here is a maximum. Here is a maximum. So I have 2 that I need to worry about. And it's important to know that on part A, they are referring to what are the maximum values, which is y values. And on part B, they're talking about when does it happen, which would mean x values. So if I just write down my 2 coordinate points, -2, 3 is the first, and 3, -1. My y values I'm going to write are going to be 3 and -1, and my x values are going to be -2 and 3. So let's go ahead and put that in. 3, comma, -1. And then my when it happens is -2, comma, 3. And I can hit check. Got them both right, which is really exciting. But that's all you need to go ahead and do on the second problem. Moving on to question 3. It says to go ahead and use the Aleks calculator to find all the real zeros. So this is a reminder that real zeros, what they're referring to is x-intercepts on the graph. And that when they say nearest hundredth, that means 2 decimal places. And you can always remember that when you think of the number 100, how many zeros does 100 have? 2, so 2 decimal places. If they said to the nearest thousandth, so 1000 has 3 decimals. I'm going to go ahead and try using, again, the Aleks calculator so I can see maybe if, so we'll see if it works out nicer. So I'm going to do y equals, and in y1, I'm going to type in 3x squared. I'm going to get out of the exponent, put plus 3x, and then plus 4. And I'm going to hit graph. All right, so here is the graph they gave me, and I feel like I probably did something wrong. 3x squared plus 3x plus 4. If I actually graph this correctly, it has no intercepts, so I'm going to hit and put none. So we can go ahead and check and make sure I graphed it correctly. It says I got it wrong. I didn't graph it correctly. Oh. So that is an example of when you do have none. I'm going to hit try another, just so I can actually show you using the Aleks calculator. All right, so I'm going to go y equals, and in this case, I'm going to do 2x squared. Not what I want. 2x squared. And I'm going to do plus 6x. Plus 1. And that is not what I want here. So 2x 2x squared. Obviously, I'm having some issues here. And you do want to make sure that you get out of that exponent. I'm going to try and do that. So there we go. Plus 6x plus 1. I am limited in what I actually can see and do on here just because of however it's set up. So I'm going to hit graph. So here is 2x squared plus 6x plus 1. I'm going to head and press the 0 button. And you can go ahead and move these to what you want the calculator to check. And it's going to give you 1 at a time. Oh, so I'm going to hit 0 again. So I'm going to hit find 0. So that first one I see is going to be, I'm going to go ahead and write this down to the nearest hundredth. My x value is negative 0.177, which would get me negative 0.18. And I'm going to do another one. I have to hide. And this time I'm going to hit and move it. And I want my right bound to be, we're just going to put -1. maybe, if it will let me. I'm sure this works better on the actual computer. Because I should be able to. So they're all. What if I put this at? So in theory, it should let me do the other one. It's not actually letting me do all this stuff using. Oh, that sounds interesting. Reopen it. So I can actually see the bottom here. So I'm running into a little bit of issues here by not being able to see that. And it's barely letting me click on what I want to click on. All right, now I can hit draft. Find the 0. Okay, that one lets me move it. Not letting me. Oh, there we go. Not quite. Let's try. Oh, so now it's decided to let me work it. All right, and there is my second 0. It took me a little while. Hopefully, if you're doing this on your computer, it does it a little nicer, or you're just using Desmos. And that will make things a lot easier. So this is negative 2.822. So that just becomes negative 2.82 for when I submit it. And so we said the first one's negative 2.82. Negative 2.82, comma, negative 0.18. And I'm going to hit check. And so that is another way to go ahead and do it. I do highly recommend using the Desmos calculator at home, or just maybe actually having a mouse will help out a bit on this one. All right, so taking a look here on question 4. We just want to know on which intervals is it increasing, and to select all that apply. So I'm looking for my positive slope. So I can see it's from negative infinity. So my positive slope is from -8 to -1, and from -5 to infinity. So I'm going to go ahead and check negative infinity to -8. No, that is negative. -8 to -1 is positive. -1 to 5. -1 to 5 is negative. So 6 to 8 is my next one. Or 5 to 8. I do believe that's all of them right there. At which x values does the function have a local minimum? So I'm looking for low turning points, and I can see that they're at -8 and +5. Okay. Interesting that I'm having such a lovely time here. And check and see what happens. Please fill in the empty boxes. I can't see the empty boxes. We're gonna go to settings. I think maybe that's wrong too. So that's interesting. Let's go ahead and try 4 now. All right, so we said -8 and +5. -8, (5). And in class, I told you if as you go to the right, which direction is it going? Since it's going to positive infinity, that tells me that my leading coefficient is also positive. If it was going to the right and it was going down, it would be negative. The other thing I can see, I'm just having to reset the zoom this way. I can also tell you that it is positive because both endpoints are going up and they're going the same direction. And so what we're going to head and take is the number of turns plus 1. So I have 1 turn, 2 turns, 3 turns. So 3 plus 1 gives me 4, and that is the minimum degree. So it can be higher than 4, but it can't be less than 4. So I'm going to go ahead and scroll down. It could be 4, 6, and 8 because it has to be even and at least greater than 4 or equal to 4. Yay, I'm done with this one. I can hit continue. 5 and 6 are also graphing. I highly recommend using Desmos. I really do. I'm going to give the calculator a try one more time in here and see if it works. All right, so we're going to go to y equals, and I'm going to graph 4x to the 4th, get out the exponent, and then put plus 2x cubed. Plus 2x cubed. Again, I'm gonna let you guys know Desmos is gonna be the way to go. Get out of the exponent. Minus 8x squared. Why is there not a squared button on this one? Minus 5x plus 2. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and graph that. And on this case, we are looking for a maximum. So that means I'm just looking for this point here. So I'm going to hit extrema. And we just want it to take a look. It's actually already set for what we're looking for in that area. So I'm going to hit OK. Or not. Find extrema is what I should hit. All right, so it gives me a min and a max. I'm only interested in the max. And so the coordinate point we're going to use is -0.31, comma 2.76 because of rounding. That is what we're going to go ahead and use. The 6 makes the 0 round up, and the 8 makes the 5 round up. So we said -0.31, comma, oh, there you have the comma in for me. 2.76. Hit check. Yay. So now we'll go ahead and move on to our last question. All right, we're gonna do zeros. This is very similar to, I believe, question 2 or 3. We just want to know where does it cross. So again, we're just gonna go ahead and use the calculator for this. I don't know why on this one it does this. Okay, so we're gonna graph negative 3x to the third plus 4x squared plus 8x minus 4. So go ahead and graph this. I can see that it crosses 3 times. That means I have 3 different answers. So I'm going to do the best I can here and just hope it lets me move things as I want. I'm actually going to start with this one being at -2. Let's see if we'll look at the 2 one. Move back to y equals that. There it is. Undo. 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 Okay, so we're going to go back to graph. We're going to look at 0 and see if it lets me change this now to a -2. And we're going to go to where it says we're going to put a -1 in the front. I'm going to hit find 0. All right, so it gives me my x value is at 1.356 or a -1.356. So I'm going to list that as -1.336 because of rounding. And then I'm going to go ahead and do this again. This time we can have that be -1. And this can just be, go ahead and be 1. Find 0. And we have another one at 0.436. So by rounding 4 is what I'm going to get. And then for our last one, we're going to go ahead and make this a +1 and have this right bound be, I'm just going to go with 1, 2. We're going to just put a 3 in. Hit find 0. And we do get it, and it's at 2.25 by rounding. That's what I need. So we are going to head and type those numbers into our answer. All right, -1.36, comma 0.44. Comma 2.25. I'm going to hit check. And it's all good. So that is how you go ahead and actually do your homework for 5-4. That is the walkthrough. And it shows you to show everyone gets technical difficulties. So hopefully you appreciated seeing that sometimes technology doesn't even work for me with how I want it. And so I will see you guys next time, and best of luck.